Well, I had been working on a series about labor, starting primarily with slave labor, which is like picking crops or cotton and something, then sort of moved it on into labor in the household. And then when I was at one of my local sources where I find material, which is at the Pasadena City College in Pasadena, California, one of the guys that I usually find neat things from had this old wooden ironing board. And the shape of the ironing board reminded me of the shape of a ship, meaning the slave ship, the diagram of the slave ship with all the slaves, how they're situated in it. I had used that before, and I found it in a book about slavery. But that's part of my visual language, just like a blackbird or a crow for Jim Crow, or a hand, a palm of the hand for your fortune or something like that, and some of the other astrological signs. But when I saw that, I immediately got this idea. I said, oh, that slave ship diagram would look really good on it. And the shape of it was also like a tomb, in a way like a casket. So it had this kind of sad, ominous feeling about it. It just seemed to make a statement about, like, you get off the slave ship and then you're a slave and you wash and iron and clean or pick cotton or whatever you have to do. So I bought that, and then I had to enlarge the diagram in order to fit that shape. And then I looked around for a photograph of a woman ironing, and I appropriated a photograph. And then found a flat iron like my grandmother used to, where you would have to heat them on a stove and then iron. And from the iron to the ironing board, I made this rusty chain. For me, that told the story, okay. But then I thought about I would hang a sheet behind it to make it more like a tableau or a little scene rather than just an isolated ironing board out there. So I hung a rope for a clothesline and had some old wooden clothespins and hung this white sheet. But on that sheet, I used the initials KKK because to me it said, okay, the KKK is against African Americans, against slaves, also other groups and religions and so forth. But I meant it specifically for black people. And I thought, isn't it ironic that the woman who irons a sheet that the KKK person wears is a black woman, is a slave? And that kind of interdependency of what goes on between the two groups. Then I had to think of a title. I go through my little sketchbooks, and I've probably found that title there, I'll bend, but I will not break. And that seemed to imply the political message that I wanted to, that you can treat me as a slave and I'll bend down to pick cotton, I'll bend down to do this and to be a labor, but I will not break.
This video raises some questions, and I need for you to be as honest as possible when answering them in the comments. And just so you know, there are 3 questions. Number 1, how often do you go to the museum to learn about art? Number 2, before this video, did you know who Betye Saar was? And number 3, who is your favorite artist? Now, please be honest in the comments when answering these questions. Please share this video with anyone you deem necessary, and don't forget to like and subscribe.